who is the biggest winners before we even get into the games? Who is the biggest winners? This could be a team. This could be a coach. This could be a fan base. This could be a player. Who's the biggest winners from yesterday?
The biggest winner. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously San Antonio, right? To get your third win against the reigning champs, the number one seed in the West, the best team in the NBA in pretty much 2 weeks, when you are this ahead of schedule, no one saw this coming. It's a huge confidence boost for them. Maybe you can say they didn't need it, but to see San Antonio get this 3 times, it's pretty scary. They're a year or two ahead of schedule, and now you kind of feel like, are they the best team in the NBA? Or at the very least, they got to be the second best team in the West. Like, this was as big of a statement you can get from a team that's led by a bunch of guys who were drafted yesterday.
Are we going to be having this same conversation in a month when, I don't know, Denver beats Minnesota, when Denver beats San Antonio 3 times when they play them? Are we going to have this conversation again in a month when San Antonio loses to Minnesota a couple of times in a row? I mean, I think that within the time frame that they beat them, I do think that's significant, Casual. I'm not going to argue that point. I 100% think that's significant. I just know that during this time of year, we have a tendency to overreact when we see teams beat the best team. Just because you beat the best team in the NBA does not mean that you're the NBA champ. You just beat the best team in the NBA right now, right? So I think that with what Oklahoma City is doing right now, Ron, and I'm not going to argue that because it's impressive. Like, they serving Oklahoma City. Like, they didn't beat them yesterday. They kicked Oklahoma City's ass, if we're being honest. They straight gave Oklahoma City the business. With that being said, the matchup doesn't look good right now. But is this going to be the same team in April that we're looking at Oklahoma City right now? Is this going to be the same San Antonio team in May that we're going to see, that we're seeing right now? No, I don't think so. Just like Minnesota is not going to be the same team. Just like Denver is not going to be the same team. But as of right now, I mean, they look like they are better than San Antonio. And I think it starts at the lead guard position. And Ron, you in particular, you jumped on me when I told you about De'Aaron Fox. You gave me the business when I told you that I thought De'Aaron Fox was one of the 5 best lead guards in the game. You gave me the business when I told you that.
No, Chill, I was with you. It was me, you, and Ox. That was
Mars.
That was Mars. That was Penn. That was everybody else.
Okay.
So you don't remember that?
I thought,
we had that
We were fighting for our life last year.
I thought you was on the Trae Young train. I know you was on the Trae Young train.
I was saying Trae and De'Aaron, but I was saying, Chill, you don't remember that?
No, but he's not a top 5 point guard in the league either.
I don't 100% think he's a top 5.
But he's not. But he's not. Like I'm saying, no. But he's clearly this year
he might not
top
be
5 point guard.
He might not be. The point we were trying to make is that he's debatably top 5, and that
he's cool. He's a good player.
But hold up, though, Swiper. The only thing we were trying to say is he's closer to top 5 than he is to being out the top 10.
Do you know how many players are in the top are playing point guard right now, though? Like, I think, like, that's such a sidebar, too, because the question was, like, they're the biggest winner, and are they the biggest, like, you know, they're later in the season. Later in the season? The OKC Thunder were just being heralded as a team that was going to push 75 wins.
Yep.
And they ran into San Antonio, and San Antonio ran him out of the gym. And the reason why you have SGA's MVP is because of his scoring, but because of the team record. And then they get belted 3 times in double digits by the Spurs, mind you, with Victor Wembanyama coming off the bench.
Correct.
So, yeah, it's a big deal that they have a top 5 player coming off the bench on a minutes restriction, and it don't matter, and they're getting worked because they can't score in the half court. Because what happens every year happens again. Every time a champion wins, we think they're going to be a dynasty. And then what happens is the NBA adjusts, and you get Wemby, Luke Cornett, backline defense with Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper and De'Aaron Fox and Devin Vassell and Harrison Barnes and Jeremy Sohan is not even in the rotation and Justin Champagnie. And then you get versus these good teams, and then all of a sudden it's like OKC is a different team. And this is why I think this is a bigger deal, Ron, than people are making it out to be. So, by the way, this is from Bobby Marks. So this is not my work. Bobby Marks today said after losses to the Spurs 3 times, including Christmas and the Timberwolves, the Thunder are now 3-4. With a minus 0.6 point differential against the other best teams in the league, with one of those wins coming in double overtime versus the Rockets. For comparison, the Thunder are 23-1 with a plus 18.2 scoring margin against all other teams. So when they run into the Dogs, they've been Laker mid versus the Dogs in the NBA so far. When they play versus everybody else in the league, they're mollywhopping them as long as you're not the best team in the league. So the reason why this is important, we're 30 games into the year. 30. This is the third of the season, and this is how they look versus these teams. They just got belted by Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then they just got belted by the Spurs in back-to-back games. First in San Antonio, this time when they're sitting in OKC, and they're down by double digits. And after the first quarter, the game wasn't close. They got it down underneath 10 one time in the fourth quarter, and then they put literally pedal to the metal and walked them all the way down. Shea was horrible yesterday. Horrifically bad. He couldn't get past anybody. And then the difference is now when you got Wemby back there, and then on top of that, Jalen said, then you got Luke Cornett back there. Now they got real rim protection and POA.
Was he bad?
And on top of that, no, he was bad. No, chill, because he was bad. He was horrible.
No, because what I don't want to do, what I don't want to do, Swipe, is I don't want to take away from what San Antonio. It's not that he was just bad. San Antonio
they made him bad.
Was off. Right. That's I don't want to
saying.
just.
They made him
he just had an off night. He was just bad. No, that's not.
No, he was bad, and his 3-point shot versus good defenses and good teams.
San Antonio did a good job.
Has been bad this year, and so a lot of this is San Antonio. I was higher on them than most of y'all before the season started, obviously, but this is a different story. They are clearly one of the contenders in the NBA. Again, because you wouldn't appreciate last year that if we looked at the Cleveland Cavaliers when they started off crazy, when they went 64 wins last year and they started off the year with 23-5, you wouldn't appreciate it if we wouldn't say that's a bona fide contender in the NBA. Well, this year, because of the fact that and on top of that, they're not even they haven't even been fully healthy together this year. Obviously, with Wemby going down with what he went down with, they have found real synergy this year. Their offense is good. Their defense is elite. They're phenomenal. And currently, I think they're 23-7 on the season. That includes 12 games without Victor Wembanyama this year. They beat OKC 3 times, knowing OKC wanted to win that game in OKC yesterday.
The 2.5 games up on Oklahoma City right now for the 1 seed.
After a historic start.
Yes.
The Thunder ran out the gates. I'm talking about 100-meter dash. They go out 15 meters ahead of everybody. Yeah. And it's looking like they are going to run away with this thing. And we've all seen that 200-meter dash. We've all seen that 100-meter dash. We've all seen that team get hocked down. That's literally what the Spurs did. Quick, too. Here, we'll take 3 wins from you. We'll hand you guys 3 losses. We are on you guys' bumper. And
y'all use that word historic too loosely. That's why.
I mean, but they did get out to a historic start.
They did.
They were tied with the numbers were there. They went 24-1.
Yeah, that's what the numbers.
They were
24-1 to start the season.
That's literally a historic start. It was whether it looked historic, whether it felt historic, that's neither here nor there. They legitimately were 24-1, and so they got out to a historic start. I just want to point into the fact that when I watched the Spurs match up against this Thunder team, they just as of right now, I'm not saying that they are better than the Thunder at what they do, but they look better matched up in these last couple games than what the Thunder do. My guard pressure is better than your guard pressure. We press your guards better than you press our guards.
Right.
Our guards handle your pressure better than your guards are handling the pressure from us. Our bigs, how Swiper just talked about the big fella Luke Cornett and obviously Wemby. Our bigs protect the rim and are finishing better than your bigs. Our secondary guys, Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson, are better than your secondary guys on the wings.
Just say his name.
Who?
Say his name.
Who?
Say his name.
You talk about Swiper?
De'Aaron Fox.
You talk about the real Swiper?
Chill. I told you this was going to happen. I told you this was going to happen.
You did say it.
I told you this was going to happen. Now y'all can finally watch him play some basketball. Y'all didn't watch him play the first 7 years of his career. Now y'all can watch him play basketball. Hey, Swiper, that defense is ELITE.
Not elite, but it's good. It's good with
watch
them.
It, watch it.
It's good. It's good with them. No, because there's not. No, it's not elite, but there is good. It's really good with them.
No,
with everybody else,
Swiper,
and with Victor, it's really good. I agree.
But see that's also the thing, though, Swiper.
No. With Luke Cornett and Devon Castle, I agree. No, because I've seen De'Aaron get fried this year. Fried this year.
I've seen him in Thompson get fried.
You're right. Great defenders don't get fried. No, you're right. Great defenders don't get worked. Rudy Gobert was the defensive player of the year a couple of years ago.
This is the problem.
Put 56 on him.
This is the problem.
I've seen a sword get fried.
When you say elite, I'm going to
Herb
say,
Jones get
well,
fried.
the elite defenders are Alex Caruso.
I see Alex Caruso get fried.
And all these other players. But he's not as good as those players. So, again, I know what's going to happen today. When we get to another game and another player, they're going to be things said about that player, and both of y'all are going to push back, even though you've never seen the performance before.
No,
I guarantee you,
I
guarantee you a couple people up here are going to do it. I guarantee a couple people up here are going to do it. So what I'm telling you, by the way, I didn't want to start this. I started with Lockdown NBA last night saying De'Aaron Fox smoked SGA. The best Kentucky guard on the floor was Foxy. And
This ain't the first. This ain't the first time.
No,
this ain't the first time, and it won't be the last either.
I'm with you. Fox is like that. He is aggressive, Fox. He was getting to the mid. I'm talking about butt off the shoulder. Come here. Putting the middies in. Like, he looked great yesterday. But chill. What
Swiper won't say, and what everybody else don't know, is this is a normal day in the office.
So, Ox, you and I have been watching Foxy for years. Right, so this ain't nothing new, right? We've always known this about him. Yeah, Swiper, don't sit there with that face like you always. I
watched
him
all year too. No, of course I did. What do you mean? No, I didn't.
We ain't talking about all year.
You ain't in the house with me. How you know?
We talking about you, Swiper. Have you been watching De'Aaron Fox for years? Yes or no?
Yes. What are you talking about? He's a great guard. What are you talking about?
No, you have
because I don't think he's top 5. And I watch him. You hear how you sound? You hear how you sound?
Yes, because if we're being honest, if you watch him,
hey Ron, did he think he was better than Tyrese Halliburton last year? Did Chill think he was better than Tyrese Halliburton last year? No, not at all.
That's not true.
Not at all. No,
well, not last year. He was hurt. He was hurt a lot last year, Swipe. He was hurt a lot last year.
I agree, but
I had him top 5.
I'm cool with thinking he's a great player. He is a great player. But if you say top 5, I'm gonna push back because there's a lot of players playing top 5.
And I don't have no problem with you pushing back on that, but don't sit there and act like you've always been watching him, Swiper.
Bro, why would I not watch the Kings? The Nuggets play them 4 times a year. Okay, they're in the Western Conference. Remember, I had some bonus in the MVP conversation in 22-23. No, I had some bonus in the MVP conversation 22-23. And then he averaged 31 versus the Golden State Warriors in round 1, game 7. And if Sabonis comes to help him, they win that series. So this is nothing new. Guess how many? He's won 3 playoff games in his career. I'm very aware of this. I know all this stuff about him. So I'm saying I'm glad De'Aaron Fox is in an elite situation. Yeah. Elite situation. He was with that trash organization that Ox support, wasn't getting no love, and then he got traded. Like I said, he was going to get traded. I remember, Ron, I know where I was. I was outside at somebody's house walking my dog, giving Ox the tea on the trade stuff for De'Aaron Fox, and I had inside information. And Ox sitting here like, well, blah, 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 blah. And then what happened? He gets traded to the Spurs, and he plays great. You did. Stop it. So D Fox is cold. I have no pushback, Chill. That game was phenomenal. He was the best player on the floor yesterday. I think that was crazy what he did to them yesterday.
I think he was.
No fight for me.
I remember who it was. It was John D. It was Mars, John D. Who else was on that train? When we were swiping, you was in there too. I want to say it was Penn as well, but I can't remember who else was.
Absolutely Penn. Absolutely.
Yeah, Penn. When we was trying to tell y'all just how good De'Aaron Fox is.
But let's not. Okay, I know I did that, and let's talk about Foxy. But that was a complete team effort. I'm telling, like the Spurs, they got everything you need. But once again, I want to ask y'all though: is this the type of situation where they got something for OKC due to their matchup in style of play, in their their roster construction, but just might not be able to get over the hump with the other teams? Like, is this team a solid contender, or do they just have it for OKC?
Nah, if they can take down OKC, they can take down anyone.
No, that's
really
not the way the league works.
No, that's not the way that works.
I think if they can take down OKC, they can take down pretty much anyone.
Why is that? Why do you feel like that?
Well, because OKC, they can beat pretty much anyone in the league, right? Because they can overwhelm teams with their athleticism and physicality, correct?
Correct.
So if San Antonio can then match that athleticism and physicality that can overwhelm 99% of the NBA, why can't they overwhelm?
Because OKC's offense is extremely limited in the half court. It is. Extremely limited.
San Antonio's isn't.
No,
right.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Other offenses,
but there are matchups that are more difficult for San Antonio than OKC.
I'm not saying there aren't matchups more difficult. I'm just saying if they could take down OKC like this, I feel confident that they can also take down pretty much any other team.
Yeah, they can. I agree. They can.
I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue that point. But what I am going to say,
that's not making a point though. That's just like saying you can have blueberries today, but will you? That's the question.
That's the question he asked. Like pretty much.
Yeah, they can beat anybody. Sure.
That's the question he asked.
Okay, so sure, Ron. Can they beat anybody? But to Ox's point, we're looking at an Oklahoma City team that San Antonio exposed a lot of flaws in their offense, which we saw last year, by the way, which still haven't been rectified. They still rely on Shea a lot in the one-on-one. There still isn't a lot of action off the basketball. There's still a lot of standing around. When we get into the meat and potatoes of the game, we still go to Shea and Shea only, right? Chet doesn't score it nearly as much. My biggest issue with their offense has always been it's a lot of standing around. It's not a lot of ball movement and not a lot of people movement. San Antonio, on the other hand, they do have a lot more action. On top of them having a lot more action, defensively, I think that they stand up to Oklahoma City. And that's the biggest thing because Oklahoma City, one of the main things that they have done is they've created a lot of offense from their defense because they bully people and they push people around. San Antonio is not with none of that. We will push back and we will compete offensively. Wemby is you saw Wemby put Chet on the floor. You want to play like that? We can play like that too. Yeah. So this is definitely a double-sided coin here. This isn't a one-sided coin. However, when you run up on a team like Minnesota, who can match your physicality, when you run up on a team like Denver, who also has a big who they run their offense through, who is phenomenal, who we're going to get to later. Now you got different problems than what you have with Oklahoma City because the ball moves more in Denver. The ball moves more in Minnesota. So,
chill. When you got like you just brought it up, and I think we need to speak on it again. So that it can really resonate with everybody. We just spoke about this the other day. We got a little pushback, but Swiper, I'm glad you're here. When you see Alex Caruso bumping Victor Wembanyama at the nail, Victor Wembanyama is not accepting that from Alex Caruso because he's smaller than him. Alex Caruso is getting hit back. Keldon Johnson is hitting back. The San Antonio Spurs are absolutely not scared of that ref whistle for fighting back. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like them dudes are definitely bringing the fight back. They're not allowing OKC to intimidate them. They're not allowing OKC to just do whatever they want to him. Now Lou Dort, he's still out there hitting people. That's his style of play. But Stephon Castle, Keldon Johnson, Victor Wembanyama, those dudes are going to hit you back. And they make it very, very clear on the court that you're not finna come out here and push us around. Victor Wembanyama is mean. He's just not a nice dude. He's mean. You know what I'm saying? He is mean. I love this shit. Like this is what I'm talking about. That was a great basketball game last night. The physicality was there, the talent, skill, all that, everything was there. Them dudes, and I know I mentioned those three guys, but you still got Dylan Harper, De'Aaron Fox, Harrison Barnes, Devin Vassell. Them dudes they're not shying away from contact. They're getting in the paint. They're playing physical defense the same way OKC does to them. They're doing it right back. Yeah. And that really matters. I think if more teams in the NBA took a page out of the Spurs book and was like, we're gonna hit the bully first, I think we would see a little bit more better basketball games. Now OKC is still as good as advertised. Don't let these Spurs matchups fool you. They're still gonna keep kicking ass. But these other teams have to hit the bully first.
I'm still so surprised, even to this day, that OKC even won the title, given how terrible their three-point shooting is, especially in 2025 after we see Boston the year before look like one of the greatest three-point shooting teams ever. They're just chucking a bunch of threes. And now you have OKC. It feels like it's hard for them to shoot 35, 40% a night because they're driving kick guys or Lou Dort, Alex Caruso. And it just doesn't seem like those are the shooters you want on the perimeter. It doesn't help that SGA is not a great three-point shooter in his own right. So they don't have a lot of shooting. I think a lot of what Chill said about them standing around, that wouldn't be as big of a deal if they had some better shooters. But, OKC, because of the paint presence of San Antonio and their physicality, had to shoot 44 threes. In no world should OKC ever shoot 44 threes in a single game.
If they got it going, but they did not have it going last night. I thought the Spurs did a great job in guarding at the long ball line. Their closeouts were really efficient. I felt like chasing guys like Lou Dort, because Lou Dort is one of those guys. He's got that kind of game where once he gets going, he sees one going, maybe two going. I think it's a little bit different with him. I thought they did a great job in chasing him off the long ball line and making him a passer, which I think is one of his biggest weaknesses. With that also being said, Also think that they made dudes like Alex Caruso shoot the long ball. Like if you're gonna shoot, like we're gonna live with you shooting the long ball, right? We're not gonna live with SGA shooting wide open jump shots. Aaron Wiggins, guys like that. We're not gonna live with that. We're gonna chase Lou Dort off the long ball line. When we do that, I think that that they definitely have a shot at winning, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean these guys, Lou Dort, Caruso, they're shooting barely above 30% this year. I think they're about like 31, 32. That's just not the formula OKC needs.
No.
But San Antonio forces them in those situations. So credit to San Antonio there.
I just love the fact that. I'm sorry, Swiper.
Well, at some point, I think this year the season for OKC is bad teams, mid team, blow them out. Good teams, great teams, it's a dogfight, and we're losing those games more often than not at this point. So I think some of this is too. They have a lot of weaknesses, but the thing is, their defense carried them this last year. Their offense was better, I would say, this last year because J-Dub and them were better. But I think a lot of folks are just, the narrative flips so quickly because 2 weeks ago they were a super team, but now they catch up. They had playing other teams that are used to playing them now that aren't afraid of them. And so I think now, you see Ant Edwards and Wolves, they're just not afraid of them. Like the Spurs are not afraid of them. The Rockets are not afraid of them. They are all physical teams with their own great assets and skill sets. So yeah, 24-1, it's not that it was Fugazi. Like they're still an elite team, but their net rating is going to be the highest at the end of the NBA season. But Ox, I'm telling you right now, if the playoffs are healthy this year, it's going to be an absolute war. Every round for them. If they got to see the Mavericks, if they got to see the Spurs, they got to see the Rockets, they got to see Denver. But the thing is, they are the best regular season team still, because their defense is what makes them what they are. And I think a lot of people are missing. They're not playing the best teams in the league every game. So they're gonna win 60+ games this year, and they'll probably win a lot more of those games.
They're still probably gonna win 70.
Well. I mean, 70, they're not gonna win 70, but they're not getting to win 70. I think at this point they have 21 games, I think, remaining on their schedule versus teams that are in the top 6. I think in the Western Conference and all that, and plus some of the East. I don't think they're gonna win most of those games, meaning most as in 17 to 21 or something like that. So they'll probably win 65, 67.
This stretch where we are right now, Swiper, and I told you this yesterday. This stretch right now between December 18th and the All-Star break. So just so we clear, they got to play the Spurs again. I just want to make sure that we clear. They got to play the Spurs again in a month.
They play me.
They play them. They play them on January the 13th. So they got to see them again. So that's in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Right? That's in 2.5 weeks. So they got to see them again. So in addition to having to see them again, right? In addition to have to see them again, they got to see Cleveland. They got to see Minnesota. They got to see Denver. They got to see San Antonio again. Right? They got to see Houston.
They play San Antonio 2 more times?
Yes.
They play them 5 times this year.
Yes, sir. 2 more times. Yeah, they got to see.
All right, y'all. Let the Spurs just win one more out of them other 2 games. Look,
they already
y'all gonna hate me
They won
now.
all
so.
5.
Yeah.
And Ron,
I'm
again, I'm just going up to the All-Star break, right? I'm just going up to the All-Star break. We are the lesser teams, like you talked about, Swiper, the mid to bad teams like Philly, Atlanta, right? Teams like that, and the bad teams
Cleveland.
like Charlotte, Utah, Cleveland is a mid team, 100%, Miami, and then you got Houston, right? Then you got Houston in there, Toronto's in there, Minnesota's in there, Denver's in there, Orlando is in there. San Antonio's in there again. Houston is in there again. I think they got to play Houston. Yeah, they got to play Houston twice. Phoenix is in there, who they were in a dogfight with, right? A couple of weeks ago. That's just up into the All-Star break. That's just up into the All-Star break. So I'm gonna find out a lot about this team.
They played Denver 4 times from February 1st to April 10th.
4 times. Wow, in almost 2 months. Yes. I like it. I do like it, Ron, because I feel like what we do, same thing that's going on right now. To see them play San Antonio 3 times in 12 days, we get a feel of what the playoffs could look like. Now, Ox has said this a number of different times that the playoffs in the regular season aren't much different. It's just that the temperature gets turned up. The temperature gets turned up a lot. So I haven't seen Devin Vassell in the playoffs. I haven't seen Victor Wembanyama in the playoffs. I haven't seen Castle in the playoffs. I haven't seen a lot of these guys in the playoffs. I've seen Harrison Barnes in the playoffs, and there's times when it doesn't look good. That's what I'm saying, Casual. There's times when it doesn't look good. And we get to focus on that, by the way, right? As an Oklahoma City organization, we get to focus on Harrison Barnes in the playoffs, With that being said, what's going on right now, they do look better. I just got to see it in the playoffs, Ron. I do. I got to see it come playoff time.
What do y'all think
All right,
Mitch
fellas.
Johnson's going to be doing, focusing on in the playoffs? This is my only thing. And I'm not going to get into this with y'all today. I'm not going to get into this with y'all today. But I know how much pushback I'm getting for saying this, and I don't care. Because what do y'all think San Antonio is going to be doing? Who do you think they're going to be focusing on the playoffs? Y'all act like only one team gets the scheme in the playoffs. Y'all think Mitch ain't going to be in the war room? Like, y'all, what y'all think is going to happen?
He definitely does his homework. I'm not arguing that point, Ox. No, I'm not. I'm not arguing that point.
All right, fellas. Well, you guys see the title of the show. It's Christmas Day, winners and losers. So De'Aaron Fox is obviously a winner. The Spurs are obviously a winner. OKC is in totality are losers, not just because they lost last night, but because they've lost to this team 3 times over the last couple weeks. Shea didn't really have a good game, so I still wouldn't necessarily classify him as a loser from last night.
It's the panel. Religion get built on cam. Where the chat throw smoke and the host go ham. You ain't never seen hoop talk hit the raw. Every take got weight, every night we drop. This that barbershop. Courtside, worldwide tone. Welcome to the only show that really feel like numbers jumping like the score.